Hello everyone, my name is Sagar and in this video we'll talk about speech recognition. Now just to give you some background, the Azure AI Speech provides us two types of APIs. Okay, so let me write it Azure AI Speech. Okay, so the type is you have something called speech to text. Okay, and you have the text to speech as well. Okay, so in this video what we are going to do, we'll pick one speech. Okay, so we'll give a raw MP3 type of audio and we'll see how our AI will able to detect that language and how it will, like print what the user specifically said. Okay, for this lab we'll use a hard-coded MP3, but for other scenarios, like you can leverage the same code. Okay, now let me create the resource first. So we are going to search for our speech service and search for speech service here. All right, here is your speech service. Okay, and simply subscribe it. Okay, again you will fill your basic details here, your subscription. Okay, I think this one is taking. All right, then you select your resource group. You can give a name, so I will call it as speech service, something like this. Okay, and then here speech service. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. All right. Oh, I think just give me 1 second here. Let me recreate it. Speech service. I'll close. I will create it again. So the reason is I don't have a proper subscription, so that's why I need to go with the one. This one. I'll make sure to search speech services here. I'll select my resource group. Again, my reason, I will give same name. And here I will go with my least pricing tier, that is F0. And here everything looks good, so I will go ahead and I will configure my speech service from my Azure portal. It is running some validation here. Okay, while this is running, I will hit on my create button. Okay, so it should start now. Okay, now into my second tab, I will start writing code for this one. Okay, so this service is ready now. So if you will open your speech service, okay, let it open. So here is your endpoint and key that we'll need. Okay, now what we'll do in our next tab, we'll start writing code and we'll start creating the SDK for it. So I can select my subscription. Let me make sure I'm into which one. 880. Okay, 880, this one. Okay, I will click on apply. I can maximize it and I will go to my classic version. And the first thing is that we are going to clone a repo from Microsoft GitHub repo. So I'm going to type this command and I'm going to clone this repo here. And in the next tab, let me open this repo. So here, if you'll go to your left files and go towards your speech one, let me expand the speech one here. All right, I can go towards here. All right, so this is clone. Now the next here would be I will go to this particular location. Okay, let me cut it from here, or copy, or let me paste it here. It should be lab here. Lab files fi. Okay, all right. So now I'm going to my this location. Close this. Don't save. All right. Next step here would be I will create an environment variable and all of the information here. All right. I forget to put Python MV and lab environment first. So this will not help me. Okay, let me click here. Now I have activated it. Okay, and I'm trying to install all these required packages here. So guys, once we are done with this, then you need to go to this. Here you need to provide the key and reason. Okay, so your key is this. You can pick any key, and then here is your reason. Okay, simply copy and paste. Next thing is that you go to this piece of code here. Okay, and you can go to this particular repo here. For example, you go to this GitHub Saga 65, open this repo, and here go to this recognize and synthesize speech, copy this code and paste it here. Okay, now the code is somewhat complex, so what it is doing, okay, first of all let's understand. So these are basic like resources needed in order to authenticate and use your cognitive service. Here simply clearing, here we'll be getting the resources from our speech service. Okay, and here when you will run this program, for example I ran it a second ago, so here it will display like ready to use speech service in your this region. Okay, then here it will basically get the token. So if the command, so here it is listening. Okay, so for example I have this audio file. Okay, let me play this.
What time is it?
So if you hear, we have something called what time it is. Okay, so it have heard that particular voice. Okay, what time it is. Now once it will heard that particular you know speech, so basically we are writing a code, right, in order to recognize the speech. Okay, so now here what we have done, we have simply hard coded it. Okay, if you will listen what time it is, then you are going to call this particular function, okay, named as tell time. Okay, so if you will go to your tell time function here you will store the current date inside this variable, and then you will display the time is something like this. Okay, now what you will do, you are also going to create an audio file. Okay, now whatever time will be there, you want to save that particular file inside this output .wav file. Okay, it's an audio file. Okay, that's why you see this binary content, right? It's encoded. Okay, let me again go back. Yep, here if you see you created this one. Okay, then it is another to whose voice you want to give. So we are simply giving the voice of this particular person here. Okay, then here we are simply providing the audio configuration. Then we are using this speech synthesizer, and we are providing the config and our audio configuration. Okay, then at the end we are simply getting the response. Okay, and we are saving it. Okay, and we'll save it to our output file, this particular file. Okay, so that's why it is saying that spoken output saved in this particular file, output.wav. Okay, and here we are also printing the response. Okay, so whatever response this user will do, for example if you see this one, right, so this is getting displayed here. Okay, So by this example, we have done both the things like speech to text, text to speech. Let me reiterate everything so that it becomes crystal clear. First thing is we deployed an speech service, and the important thing for us was the reason and the key. Okay, then we have done all this basic configuration that I've been doing in last my few videos. Here we provided the key and reason. Okay, now the important thing is this piece of code. Okay, so here if I scroll it, okay. And let me see, I cannot play this particular audio and can tell you, but trust me, it works. Yeah. So here this is our main function. It is clearing your window. Here the environment variables are getting loaded. That is our key and reason. Then here we are going to, use our speech service. Okay, and we are displaying that we are ready to use speech service. Okay. Then we are listening here. Okay. So basically, if your command would be something like what time is it is. Okay. So let me play the audio as well. A sample text file that I can play. So listen it properly.
What time is it?
Okay, so if you heard what time it is, so as soon as it will happen, it is going to call this function, okay, this tell time function, okay. And here also, like when you call this transcribe command function, here you will actually read the command, okay. Here also we have hard coded the file because we are doing this exercise inside a lab, okay. So that's why this time.wav file have this speech, what time it is, okay. So it is basically reading this, okay. And here, yeah, then it will be calling your this tell time function. Here you are storing your current time, whatever would be, okay, and you are storing this inside a variable, and at the end if you see you are printing this particular response, so that's why you have this time is something like this, okay. And in middle of this one you want to save this, but see, we have seen the example of how we can detect the audio, okay, already from this particular function, this we call this transcribe command, okay. Now we are doing a vice versa. Now we have this particular speech and we want to convert it into an audio file, okay. So we are already defined this would be our audio file, okay. Here we are giving a voiceover, we are using this person, okay. This is our audio configuration. Again we are using the speech synthesizer here, and here we'll be providing the response, okay. We'll speak and at the end we'll be simply printing everything, that's it. So again, like you can do ChatGPT in order to understand more this piece of code. Alright, so this is about this video. Here if you see the actual speaking is being done, okay. So the text will be converted to audio, okay, and that will be stored inside the speak variable. Alright, so that's it all about this video. Thank you for watching this.